everything because we deserve happiness. Joy is what we have to have no matter what is going on. But I'm declaring that this is a season that we actually enjoy happiness. And that means something has to be happening for there to be happiness. And we're going to make things happen around here. So, welcome, billionaires. Welcome to the Big B at 3, your daily moment of clarity, power, and alignment. Let's get into it, billionaires. Today's talking point is, if y'all have not watched the live recording of the B Word podcast, you should. That took place December the 14th, and it was just absolutely beautiful. Just the conversations that I had with King Michelle Valburn and Queen Natalie Nicole. Like, I was going back and I was watching the footage, and I was like, wow, this is actually really, really good. And I just can't wait to just keep pouring into the world my perspectives, my thoughts, my energy, because it is just something that is just very unique. It reminds me of and I need to go read this again for very much clarity, because this part of the story was what I was going to say, but I think it reminds me of another part even better. And that is when it's a couple of times in the Bible where God is like coming to destroy that particular city or that particular place. And there's one person there. Usually there's like a Moses or like an Abraham, and they're like, God, don't destroy it. And it was one particular story I'm thinking of in particular when God was like, I'm destroying it. Unless you can find me one other person that's like you, I don't believe this town should exist anymore. And that is really, really, really a real thing. It's not a lot of thems out there. It's not a lot of hymns out there. It's not a lot of hers out there. And by that, it has absolutely nothing to do with money, because money can make anybody do and look any kind of way. But I believe the real wealth in today's society are those who are walking in integrity, those who are walking in strong character of righteousness, those who are treating their neighbors the way they want to be treated, those who are putting themselves first because they don't put everybody else first, and I'm saying people don't put them last, and just learning how to trust in God, allowing God to fill that seat of your partner, allowing God to fill that seat of your best friend, allowing God to fill that seat of your business partner, of your romantic partner, of your mother partner, of your father. Like, he can fill the seat of every companionship that you need. And then once you learn what it feels like to be treated well, with respect, with dignity, with compassion, with support, with service, because you opened your Bible and you saw how the Lord wants that to, how that looks via biblical principles, you just realize it ain't a lot of them out here. And you're just grateful. And you're just praying that you clean up your act, because anything that's in our ecosystem, y'all, is because we attracted it. We mirrored it. It's something in us that's bringing it here. And it could be as simply that if you are a giver, then you're going to naturally attract takers, right? So with that being said, you got to figure out how to navigate your life, do that from biblical structures, and just put your foot down about you. Because if you don't, it's like they said, if you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. But I was just looking at the podcast, and I was like, man, this is really going to help a lot of people. Because even from one of my great takeaways, because sometimes when you're recording, you're in the hype of it all, you're in the spirit of it all. So some of the stuff I forgot saying until I went back to watch it. It's my real self, but I was in a high self just speaking, and it was good. And two of the good takeaways that I received, this is going to be for our spiritual lesson, which is brought to you by our Bright Journeys via Mindful Growth Strategies, which is a real community within my Plan B society. Plan B is the ecosystem that houses everything. In the Plan B society, we have what we call Bright Journeys via Mindful Growth Strategies. It is at a very low cost for you to join. And every day you just get, every week we get a prompt that leads us through the week for 7 days a week, just teaching us, encouraging us to open our Bibles first thing in the morning, right? To journal about ourselves and what's going on in our lives so we can, a year from now, say, wow, look how far I've come. To meditate, pause. What is God saying? Can I hear God's voice? What is my reaction to that? Gratitude. Man, we may not have everything that we want, but we have so much and so much more. I was talking about how I watched The Little House on the Prairie yesterday, and I won't get into it because I could. That episode, that all the episodes are really good, but that one really, really drove home. But what was so beautiful was that even my mama was like, there were times in her life that she has lived similar to that, where you had to go in your backyard and hunt down a deer to eat, where the work that you did was hard, laborious work. There was no computer jobs, there was no trading, it was no convenience of your home. And just watching that and seeing those people make a way out of no way and showing me what work and work ethic really is, just made me feel so much more appreciative that I do get to sit down for an hour a day and make $1,000 to $10,000 a day. That is nothing but God. And I prayed to God for something that powerful. I believed he can deliver it, and he did. But back to our point. So if you need assistance with just your daily walk with God, I'm not there holding your hand. I'm just there providing you with the support that you need to get your day started with Christ, then yourself, and then go out to be a conqueror. And this portion of the show, which is our spiritual lesson, is brought to you by the Bright Journeys via Mindful Growth Strategies. And some things that I said on that podcast was, because I know we live in an era where we as women, we feel pressured, if you ask me, to have a certain beauty standard. Your teeth need to be done. Your body need to be shaped like a Coca-Cola bottle. If you have a baby, you need to be snatched in 2 days. Like, just unrealistic. We can't age. We got to look 25 until we 105 or something, is what I literally said on the podcast. But I said all that changed when I got in my word more. And it just taught me to look at myself with my spiritual eyes, with my God's eyes, as my goddaughters. If God was my father, how would I look eyes? And so much stress and pressure and critiquing that I used to do just evaporated. Because I just start saying, I'm beautifully and wonderfully made. I'm made in God's image. God don't make no mistakes. He didn't make nothing about me either. And I just walked in that energy. And then we talked about how God is the bank. And that, we go through seasons. I've been through seasons of life where my pocketbook has been up, down, nothing, and something. In those times when they were nothing, I can just remember I might have a bill that was $31.97 and I had no money. On the day the bill was due, $40 would show up. I didn't have no extra to do anything else with, but my daily bread arrived. And in this year, I was faced with some financial difficulties because I was transitioning from one career to another. Just a lot going on in the background, and I had to make some sound, wise decisions about my life. And I do that before shit hits the fan. When things start to look like it's hitting the fan, it is time to create a plan. Even if I can do it before it looks like it, I'm always thinking ahead when I can. But it reminded me that when my pocketbook is weak, my God pocketbook is strong. And when I look at myself as wealthy, the head, not the tail, the lender, not the borrower, above, not beneath, that allows the weight of the reality that's happening around me in the natural world, when my bank account looks emptier than I want it to be, to rely on my faith, to rely on God's provision, to rely on the fact I ain't never seen God's children begging for bread or forsaken. Like, just knowing that God is always going to show up. Understand that there's seasons and reasons. Understanding that you don't always get to have your harvest the same year that you plant the seeds. I think we have gotten so used to a microwave society that when we don't get things immediately, it feels like failure, but it's not failure. It's just the fact that it's not the season. And just understanding that and just knowing that God has never left us or forsake us. We had those examples from the past when we needed the 37.91 and he gave us the 40. And just leaning on that, just thinking about being in the wilderness and how God might have not dropped down steak and mashed potatoes, but he didn't let you go hungry. It's your fault if you feel like you too good to eat the manna that's falling from heaven. I fed you. If you don't want to eat it, that ain't got nothing to do with me. But the provisions have been made. And that is the God we serve. And that is the energy that I had to learn to lean into. I was giving all of that energy to people, this person, that person, this relationship, this working situation, this partnership, this friendship. And every single time in this season, it was just like, nope, not it. And at first I was getting upset with the people, but then I was like, I can't even get upset with the people no more. This is strategic. This is God surgically removing me from all of the situations, from all the relationships, from all the weight, from all the pulls, from all the misalignment, so he can have me to myself, himself, and get me right under his will, and then put me back out into the world again, the B word. So guys, I hope that nugget hit home. But I'm just so grateful, and you definitely need to watch the show because it goes even deeper. As I was watching it, excuse me, I'm like, girl, you're pretty darn good. I didn't realize you had this kind of fire in you. So anyway, our next segment is going to come from Blessin Dystanee's product of the week. And our product of the week is our Good, Better, Best signature curriculum, which is a 6-week course where we work together, helping you get back in tune with you from biblical perspectives. And just, it sounds selfish, but sometimes you need a season of selfishness. Sometimes you need a season of just getting clear on what you are, who you are, what you like, what you no longer like, what's acceptable, what's no longer acceptable, what are my boundaries, how am I going to enforce them, who am I? I'm not her from 5 years ago. Who do I desire to be? I can make it up. I can become that person and work toward that person right away. But when we don't pause, we just move willy-nilly. Like there's no plan. There is nothing clear that we're working toward. We're just moving. This person is calling us this way. We're calling ourselves that way. It's just unorganized. And God is a God of structure. God is a God of clarity. God is a God of order. And you need to get in order with you before you can give any orders. The greatest and golden commandment is love yourself. Love your neighbors as you love yourself. We will do a better job of loving our neighbors when we do a better job of loving ourselves. So this course is about getting you back in love with you, getting your self-worth back up again, getting that God identity indoctrined in you. So when you are weak and feeling like a bum and feeling like you don't have it and feeling like you're not beautiful and feeling like you ain't got no money, you can lead into the energy of your God who says you are wealthy, who says you are wise, who says you are beautifully and wonderfully made, who said that he thought about you before your mama thought about you, who said that he knows every strand of hair on your head. He knows the count. When you lose some because you brushed it today, he knows how much is left. And you want to learn yourself like that as much as you can. You'll never know the amount of hair you have on your head, but you need to pause and know as much about yourself as you possibly can. So going forward, all the decisions you make in your life are in alignment with the clarity you came up with about you. And it gets easier to say no because now you're knowing that it's not even me saying no. It's according to my boundaries, according to my principles, according to the scripture, I got to say no. Take it up with God. That's the energy we own in 2026. All right. Cool. So our product of the week, the Blessin Dystanee product of the week that will be soon coming to the a store near you, an Instagram link bio near you, is the Good, Better, Best. And this has really been inspired since I was a kindergarten, maybe pre-K, when I learned my first speech. Good, better, best. We'll never let it rest, and never is in there until our good becomes better and our better becomes best. So this has always been in me to eventually get here to help others get there. And I'm just so grateful to be a tool in the army of the Lord. All right. Next segment we have is our trading segment. And on Thursdays, that's going to be brought to you by Financially Free with Professor B. I'll be going live with Love Nest XX tonight on his YouTube channel at 8 o'clock sharp Eastern Standard Time. The show is about, but you're more than welcome to tune in, us being deliberate and intentional with those who happen to be incarcerated, letting them know they have not been forgotten about. And we are teaching them the principles, the basics of trading. We are figuring out how we can help them become traders while they're on the inside, how to renew their minds while they're on the inside. So when they get out, and some of them won't be getting out, that they can reach a level of freedom in their head, that they can reach a system in their cell that allows them to be free spiritually and financially. Like, God, what a time to be alive. And yeah, so that's what we're doing tonight. And again, if you are available, feel free to tune in. I remember my very first call was one of the most unique things I ever experienced. When I heard that caller call in and it said, you have a collect call, or you have a call from a what does it say? From a correctional facility. I'm like, wow, like you can really hear this. Like, it's so cool. And it's such a blessing to be a part of the project. I am so grateful to be a part of the project. And I just thank that King for allowing me to be a part of the project. So come tonight, get you a few trading tips for yourself as we are helping the kings and queens from the inside out. And today's B word is going to be brains, because I got my new frames. Frames. Doesn't really rhyme, but it sounds like it does. And that is just letting you know, to brains became one of my B attitudes. It's one of the originals from 15 years ago, because that's kind of when BBLs would start to take over. And I literally said, this is going to be a fad. And I probably was wrong, like I am about most things. I thought Instagram was going to be a fad. And not most things, just different perspectives. But I was like, the classic girl is coming back. And when she comes back, I'm going to be here. But even if she don't come back, the thing that never goes out of style is a girl with a brain. So if you can get you a girl that's beautiful and a brain, you have hit the jackpot. If you got to choose one, go with the brain. But you know me, I'm not an or girl, I'm an and girl. And just being very intentional about learning, being very intentional about listening, being very intentional about being introduced to new ideas and things, and not just being set in my ways and say, I've been doing it like this forever. Being the opportunity scout that goes to all the different conferences and joins all the different mentorships, so I can learn what the offers are and what's being offered to the world, and then make a decision about what works for me, and then take all of those things and craft something so beautifully that is perfect for me. All has to do with my brain and my mindset of not being afraid to use it and just invest in myself, and not be a woman who wants to depend on her looks. But if you had to pick, I'd rather you pick me for my brain. So the B is for brains. Okay, guys? And that is going to wrap up our show. The call to action for today is just make sure that you go and watch the live B Word podcast from this past Sunday. It was also a way of celebrating my birthday, so you owe me that for my birthday gift. Leave some comments. Let me know what you think about it. I'm making YouTube my new home. I can't wait to have more people on the live. Actually, we're going to be streaming from multiple platforms coming up really, really soon. We're just getting that situated in the background. The B is for blessing every single day. Remember to be a blessing. It's the holiday season, guys. A lot of us want to receive, but there's so many families that I even forget that, this has not been my best performing financial year. But even with that, I always think very, very wealthy. Like I be having to remind myself what's going on this season. But I've just been in a spirit, just naturally, like, what can I give? Who can I give to? Who can I bless? Like, I know my family is okay. I know my family is going to always be okay. But there is so many families out here that you'll just be surprised that aren't able to do the basic things. There was one family that we blessed already that we talked about. This young lady, she was recently incarcerated, had a baby, and she had 2 other children. So we adopted them for the Christmas, for Christmas, so we can provide their gifts to them. And a large amount of our proceeds from the live Be Word recording went toward that family. And since then, we have adopted another family. There's a grandmother who is taking care of her 4 great grandchildren, and her resources are really tight. So we have decided to also, well, not when I say we, it's my mother's church, First Jerusalem, here in Savannah, Georgia, to adopt that family as well, and make sure that those children have a beautiful holiday season. So just remember, guys, to always be a giver. Always put the needs of others before you. You don't want to pour from your empty cup. You don't want to pour from a half cup. And even if your cup is full, everything that runs over, I believe, is what I like to pour from. And I like to keep my cup running over as much as I can. And guess what? It's not even running over in this season, and I'm still just thinking about how can others be blessed, because the Christmas is about the Christ that's in the Christmas. And Christ was born in the manger. It wasn't nothing real fancy, and he made his introduction to the world, and he was blessing the people ever since. So just getting into the real energy of what this season is all about is just such a beautiful thing. So make sure that you are a blessing to someone each and every day. It could be a word. It could be a small donation. It could be something you have in your house that you no longer use. It will be useful in someone else's life. Okay? All righty, guys. So with that being said, this has been, where's my closing statement here? I wanted to close correctly. We're going to pick up on our giveaway soon. Just in transparency, there's not enough participants right now, but I do want to give things away. It would be either a course of something that comes out of the Plan B Society. So it could be a month free of the Bright Journeys via Mindful Growth Strategies. It could be one of our 21-day activations. It could be a $100 gift card. It could be so many things. But right now, we just don't have enough participants for me to keep offering it, because I have no one to give it to when those Fridays come. So I am in the spirit of giving. You guys do your part so I can do my part. So may your day be settled, your spirit be straightened, and your steps be guided by God. This is Blessin Destiny, your belief mentor and generational blessing. And this was your Billionaire Daily Mindset, your daily reminder that your identity and your authenticity are your superpowers. See you tomorrow, billionaires. Same time, same grace. The Big B at 3. Peace.